Nord Stream still far from completion and winter fast approaching. Europe's attention is focused on preventing another Russia-Ukraine gas bust-up. The country's prime ministers have met in the Ukrainian city of Yalta to discuss the issue, and it seems that this year Europe shouldn't fear winter gas cuts. RT's Alexei Yarshevsky joins us live from Yalta. Well, Alexei, is that true? Does this mean Europe can really stop worrying about getting gas this winter?
Well, Yulia, according to what the Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin said, we could definitely have the Happy New Year celebration this time around. All of us covering the story, Russia, Ukraine, and of course the rest of the European continent. It seems that the agreement has been made between the two governments, between the two prime ministers, and of course between the two gas giants of both Russia and Ukraine, Gazprom and Naftogaz respectively. There's been a lot of positiveness in the talks between the two prime ministers. They've already regulated that the price for the transit of Russian gas through the Ukrainian territory to the European continent will be increased from January the 1st, 2010, as well as the price itself for the Russian gas, which Ukraine buys now with a 20% discount. There's only one problem remaining, which has been talked about a lot recently, is that Ukraine doesn't use as many gas as it orders from Moscow, and many have been saying that that huge money should be paid as compensation for that, multi-billion US dollar compensations. But Prime Minister Putin actually put paid to all those speculations in one simple phrase. Let's listen to what the two prime ministers had to say.
We know that both Russia and Ukraine have been hit by the global crisis. This naturally led to a drop in demand. We understand that, and that's why we've decided not to impose any sanctions on Ukraine.
I admit it was hard for Ukraine to pay for gas accurately every month, but it is the first time for 18 years that Ukraine made payments on time. The financial crisis did not interfere with that. Of course, we appreciate the step made by the Russian government, Prime Minister Vladimir Putin and Gazprom not to force sanctions against Ukraine in 2009.
But it's not only here in Yalta in the Crimea where gas has been talked about. As we know, the Georgian President Mikhail Saakashvili also came to Kiev simultaneously with Vladimir Putin here in the Crimea, and gas issues have also been talked about in Kiev by the country's President Yushchenko, who actually is asking the Russian President Dmitry Medvedev to review the gas contracts made by Yulia Tymoshenko in the beginning of the year, which of course ended the gas row between Russia and Ukraine. But this is been viewed in Ukraine as a part of a political campaign. Now, of course, the matter of Saakashvili being on the same soil as Vladimir Putin was asked to the Russian Prime Minister during the Q&A session, and the Russian Prime Minister laughed off this issue, and let's listen to what he had to say about that.
What recommendations can I give to the two presidents? If they decide they want to have dinner together, I'd advise them to wear no ties. Ties are quite expensive these days. We don't want them to have them... Well, you know what I mean.
Well, as far as we could see from the press conference of Mikhail Saakashvili and Yushchenko, they ignored Putin's recommendation. But nevertheless, it seems that right now the gas issue has been more or less resolved, and we are unlikely to see any gas disputes this winter round.
Okay, we all hope so. Alexei Yarshevsky reporting there live from Ukraine. Alexei, many thanks.